Had it knocked away in a reach-in foul, and the contact committed by Gonzaga. First on Emmanuel Inocenti, and that's the second on the Zags. You look at the season Gonzaga has had, some of the impressive wins they've had to this point. They're number 5 right now in the net rankings, and the latest bracketology from Joe Lunardi has them as a 2 seed. Santa Clara comes in with an impressive net ranking at 57, and they get their first points from Christian Hammond. Leading scorer on the year for Santa Clara, averaging 17 a game. Down low, Graham Ike, and one.
Graham Ike establishing himself early in this game. This is what you want. You want your 5-man to rim run, get deep, great position, and there's the bump down lows. Not enough to stop a strong guy like him. And we've already seen the finesse and the touch around the rim.
First Santa Clara foul. Ike 75% from the line. 5th in the country with 9 double-doubles already. And he's got 5 of the Zags' 7. And a whistle. And Brooks Wells, part of an outstanding crew, working with DJ Carstensen and Mr. High Knees himself, Jeffrey Anderson, in the Pacific Northwest tonight. It's the second foul on Emmanuel Inocenti, and Mark Few having to sub him out with 2 fouls, sending in Tyon Grant Foster. Mark Few, not too long ago, picked up his 750th career win, the second fastest coach in college basketball history to get to 750 wins. A 3 and the stroke from Jake Ensminger.
I think one of the storylines will be, how can Santa Clara create those 3-point opportunities? Almost created a turnover there, but the Zags up the court quickly.
Inside, and Ike is fouled to the rim. That was on Buki Aboye of Santa Clara. And seems a point of emphasis. Look, Gonzaga wants to get the ball inside anyways, but they really have an emphasis of getting it to Ike tonight. As Herb Sendek, who has done a phenomenal job at Santa Clara. Look what they've done the last number of years. 4 straight 20-win seasons, top 4 finishes in the WCC each of the last 4 years. NIT trips 3 of the last 4 years, but they want to get back to the big dance, which is something Santa Clara has not been to in a long time.
Herb Sendek, one of the most elite basketball minds in the nation. You talk about a guy who's had an outstanding career, really turned things around in his time at Santa Clara. They are a force to be reckoned with.
Now Graham Ike with 7 of the Zags' 9. Now inside, the flip in the lane missed by Christian Hammond. And here come the Zags. Pass broken up. Tyon Grant Foster, then he lost it, picked up by Santa Clara. Christian Hammond back the other way. Turning the corner. Elijah Mahi gets inside.
Well, he is so tough off the dribble. He's got the size to finish in the lane, and that's the other thing. Will Santa Clara be bothered by the pressure of the Zags? Turning it over, deflections, those are things they can't do if they want to hang around in this game.
And a foul going for the rebound. It's on the Broncos as Braden Huff was bumped after the penetration from Braden Smith.
Mahi's size off the dribble just takes the defender wherever he wants to go. And once he gets to this sweet spot, it's lights out. Just raises up, gets big, finishes in the lane. Double-digit score for the Broncos.
Adam Miller. Inside 10 to shoot. Here's Grant Foster. 3, 2, 1 on the shot clock. Ike fires and hits the deep 2. Boy, it's Graham Ike's night so far.
He is having his way, getting great looks, and right there, because he made the first few, had the confidence to hit that buzzer beater.
And now an illegal screen, offensive foul called on Santa Clara. 4-point lead for Gonzaga. Graham Ike with 9 of the Zags' 11 points. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Fairlife. Enjoy great taste and nutrition with Fairlife Ultra Filtered Milk.
ESPN.
Well, Gonzaga and St. Mary's have won or shared regular season titles every year since 2001 in the West Coast Conference. This year, there's, I think, more depth and balance co-rated the WCC with 5 teams ranking in the top 110. As far as the net ranking, Santa Clara right now in the top 60. And a changing landscape, though, for the WCC, with Gonzaga heading to the Pac-12 after this season, along with Oregon State and Washington State. And coming into the WCC will be Denver next year, and UC San Diego comes in the following season.
A lot of changes. I think it'll be some great matchups in the Pac-12 as well as the WCC. You talk about that dominance, those teams at the top, that'll change, and keep your eye on that Seattle team. They are sneaky good.
Chris Victor's doing a tremendous job with that team. 11-7 Gonzaga, 9 already for Graham Ike. As Tyon Grant Foster forced out near midcourt, now attacks. And a tough fall-away jumper by Grant Foster, the transfer from numerous stops, his last one being Grand Canyon.
Outstanding mid-range game with that young man, but loves to attack the rim as well. Nice pick and roll there by the Broncos, and they're able to connect.
And they go inside, and it's the redshirt freshman, Alan Graves, the former Louisiana Gatorade Player of the Year for Santa Clara.
Santa Clara doing a nice job of beating that ball pressure with passing rather than trying to beat it off the dribble.
And now Graves called for a foul. That's his first. The foul's mounting for Santa Clara.
Yeah, Roxy, you mentioned it earlier. They've been very deliberate playing inside out. At least 4 of the 5 fouls have been drawn in the paint for Gonzaga. They're being very intentional with their offense.
And Ike has drawn 3 fouls already, 5 committed by the Broncos. Having trouble getting it in here is Ike way out high. Jalen Worley checks in, the transfer from Florida State, rather from Virginia, who was at Florida State previously, as Graham Ike does it again for the Bulldogs.
Well, he gets to his spot and turns, great form. And once he saw that first one drop, you can see the confidence right now with Ike every time he has the ball.
He's definitely come out intent on not letting what happened against Santa Clara happen tonight, what happened last season when the Broncos were here. Stepping in, Cherry Darlin has his shot blocked by Graham Ike. Jalen Worley attacks, and he's denied. Alan Graves with the block for Santa Clara.
Couple of great jobs from the rim protectors at both ends. Right here, you're going to see challenge the big man, Graham Ike. This is experience, keeping his hands straight up, not committing the foul. And then on offense, We talked about him having the hot hand. He gets to the elbow. Now this spin, fadeaway, that's unstoppable.
Here's Steel Ventures checking in. Good to see him back on the floor this year after missing the last 2 years with injuries. Corner three, and now an off the mark from Mario Hussein Supiri. And here comes Santa Clara. Freshman KJ Cochran backs it way out near midcourt. Sash Gavalulov, too strong on the three, and the rebound grab by Jalen Worley, and he's tied up. And the hands from Alan Graves, and the arrow belongs to Gonzaga. Santa Clara just 1 for 4 from three and 4 for 12 from the field.
They've had some point-blank opportunities on a couple of shots in the lane, and only down 6 early on, but you feel like the Broncos can create their own shots. They just got to get them to fall.
Graham Ike down low. Turns middle. Ike again inside across the key. Santa Clara has no answer for Graham Ike.
Beautiful move. Might have gotten away with a slight hook, but when they're big like that, the refs tend to let that stuff go.
Alan Graves way off on the three. Cherry Darlin the offensive rebound. Corner three. That desperately needed by Santa Clara. Sash Gavalugov, the redshirt freshman from Bulgaria who began his college career, played 4 games before an injury shut him down last year for Villanova and transferred to Santa Clara.
Well, it's pretty evident what the strategy is going to be. The Broncos not shying away from the three-point shot early on, trying to keep pace with the bigs for the Zags.
That's what Santa Clara does. As Ike lost the ball, here comes KJ Cochran for the Broncos. In transition, gets into the key, had it taken away, but a foul, and it's called on Mario Hussein Supiri of Gonzaga. Fourth-team foul against the Zags.
Now the crowd doesn't like this call, but it's an obvious foul right there. Defender wasn't exactly set, made contact in the upper body on the floor. Not a shooting foul, but trying to get that Euro step through, and couldn't make it happen.
A breather for Ike. As Alan Graves looking to back his way in. A three. Too strong from Sash Gavalugov. And a foul committed by Gonzaga going for the rebound. And it's on Jalen Worley.
And right here, the Broncos are going to get an extra possession just off of effort. Trying to go for that offensive rebound. Darlin forces the foul, and they'll get another chance at it.
Santa Clara, as you alluded to it, Corey, they shoot a lot of threes, but that's what Herb Sendek does. Ball movement. They're second in the WCC in assists. They average over 18.5 a game. They lead the conference, making nearly 10 threes per game. Travel, turnover on Santa Clara.
Yeah, Rox, they shoot the three, and the issue is if it's dropping, then you've got a whole host of problems on your hands because they've got 4 or 5 guys that can shoot the three very well. So your first job is to contain, then you have to contest. The Broncos beat you one-on-one, it could be a long night.
Steel Venters can't catch up with it, and then saves it from going out, but right to the Broncos and Christian Hammond. Left open, KJ Cochran in transition, too strong on the three. Last touch by Santa Clara off of Alan Graves. 5-point lead for Gonzaga at home against Santa Clara. Battle of 2 of the 3 unbeatens in the WCC. The Zags with the upper hand early. 5-point lead for Gonzaga behind Graham Ike, who is dominating inside early for the Zags.
Well, here's something you're probably going to be familiar with. He needs a double team because in the one-on-one, he's been unstoppable early on, getting touches, knocking down buckets. But you see, one-on-one, right now, Santa Clara has no answer for the big man in the post.
Ike, the only active player in college basketball that has scored more than 2,000 points and grabbed over 1,000 rebounds. Not in this game, because that would be a story. He only has 13 so far tonight. The two-time first-team All-WCC selection. It's Graham Ike.
You know, leadership takes a lot of different forms, but when you drop 13 in the opening set for your guys to get off to a good start offensively, that's a form of leadership. Other guys are going to join the party, no doubt, for the Zags, but he has set the tone early in this conference game.
Mario Sain-Supiri, and the pass deflected out. Baseline throw in for the Bulldogs. Zags have made 5 of their last 7 shots from the floor. Gonzaga riding a 9-game winning streak. Tyon Grant Foster had it knocked away and a foul committed by the Broncos. And we alluded to Santa Clara's win here last year. These two teams have split the regular season matchups each of the last 2 seasons. But Gonzaga has still won 51 of the last 55 against Santa Clara. And a steal, Allen Graves races up the floor and drops it in.
Good anticipation right there by Graves. Got his hand in the passing lane. That's some old school defense. Love to see the guys sit down and deny passes, something you don't see a lot.
3 straight Bulldogs turnovers cut it to a 3-point game. Steele Venters off the down screen. 3. First points for Venters, 38% on his threes. Flyby. Christian Hammond sets the feet, buries a deep 2.
Oh, you're talking about high-level basketball, from the execution on one end to just the individual effort right there from Hammond. Both great-looking threes.
Mario Sain-Supiri missing the reverse lay-in. But Hammond, basketball runs in the family. That's why it just comes easy for him. The natural game and the high IQ. His brother Julian, a standout for Tad Boyle at Colorado. His dad, Julian, played at Loyola Marymount professionally in Australia. Mom was a hooper at Cal Poly. Steele Venters sets up in the corner. 3! Tremendous catch and shoot. Performer and Venters. Wild flip up and spinning. And Brenton Napper will get to the line for Santa Clara. That's the second foul on Mario Sain-Supiri. Sixth Gonzaga team foul. Brenton Napper, the senior from Ontario, went to high school in Southern California, although grew up in West Virginia. 80% foul shooter, one more coming for Napper. Saturday on ESPN. Great day of college hoops. Number 21 Tennessee and Florida kick it off at noon Eastern. Then number 6 Duke hosting high scoring number 24 SMU. Then number 1 Arizona, undefeated on the road, looking to take on TCU and see how the Horned Frogs bounce back after that rough loss at Kansas the other night, where they had game 1. You feel for Jamie Dixon and the Horned Frogs. And then number 15 Arkansas and Auburn. Both free throws knocked in by Napper in a 5-point game. On the drive, Jalen Worley. He traveled. 6 Gonzaga turnovers already. They turn it over only 10.5 times a game.
Yeah, and with Ike on the bench, you wonder how they're going to manufacture offense. They had a couple of good threes on some possessions, but right there, an empty possession for the Zags. And, you know, it's a 5-point affair despite the Graham Ike show we've been witnessing in the opening moments of this game.
Their leading scorer on the season, backdoor lob up above everybody. And Buki Aboye is fouled and will go to the line. It's on Braden Huff. Huff is Gonzaga's leading scorer, but he hasn't registered a point yet tonight.
Well, he hasn't had to, but this is another great play. They set the ball screen, but they keep their eye on the big. They put it to where only he can get it. That's the second time they've tried to get the lob over the top.
Foul on Huff, his first. And Aboye rattles in the first free throw, the sophomore from Sugar Land, Texas. Leads the Broncos in block shots, fourth in the conference in block shots this year. Just a 58% foul shooter, though. Goes 1 for 2, and the rebound grab by Steele Venters. It's the Zags by 4.
Venters with a couple of nice threes for the Zags. You want to try to get him in some pin down action, see if they can get him open again.
Steal, Buki Aboye by himself throws it down.
For a second, I thought we were about to see SC top 10 because he can fly, but he said, you know what? We're on the road. Let me just get the 2.
Just a 2-point game. And a foul on the drive. It's committed by Elijah Mahi. And Gonzaga in the bonus, it'll be a 1-and-1.
Earlier, we talked about getting in the passing lane. This is just effort. Getting out there, putting your hand in the way, easy 2 points. Anticipation, we know both these teams watch a lot of film. They anticipate what's coming, turn it into points.
1-and-1 for Emmanuel Inocenti. Believe it or not, that's the first free throw he's made this season. He is now 1 for 4.
Well, his frame, you would expect him to get to the line a lot more than that. A physical player, good athlete.
One more for Inocenti, who hits both. And now Santa Clara turns it over. A lazy pass by the Broncos.
Little miscommunication, not a whole lot of pressure. Just a mental mistake right there.
Zags by 4. They're 9 of 14 from the floor. Yet it's only a 4-point game because they've turned it over 7 times.
The turnovers have hurt, but Graham Ike's effectiveness in the paint, the Zags haven't been a threat inside since he's gone to the bench.
Foul on Elijah Mahi, his second. And a 1-and-1 back to the line is Inocenti for Gonzaga.
And that could be an issue for the Broncos. One of their top scorers with 2 fouls early in the game, but looks like he's going to stay out there.
Rebound secured by the Broncos. Santa Clara, a team that won big at Xavier. It's beaten Nevada, Minnesota, some good wins for the Broncos. Tipped out, Cherry Darlin on the drive. Darlin couldn't get that to go. Here come the Zags running in transition, 3-on-2. Steele Venters a step through that throws up a wild reverse and a foul going for the rebound, and it's on Gonzaga. And a 1-and-1 at the other end for Santa Clara.
What a turn of events. The Zags literally had a 5-on-2 come up empty-handed, and it's the Broncos that'll go to the line right here. The step through. I'm not exactly sure where or what the contact was. Maybe the 2 hands in the back right there. Not a whole lot of contact, but enough to draw the whistle.
Third foul on Emmanuel Inocenti. Here with 8:18 left in the half. And a 1-and-1 for Brent Napper, who's 3 for 3 at the line. ESPN Women's Hoops triple header Sunday afternoon. Number 22, North Carolina. And Notre Dame start us off at 1 Eastern. Then it's LSU hosting number 2 Texas, and then Duke travels out to the Farm to take on Stanford. Busy day of women's hoops coming up Sunday afternoon on ESPN. Brent Napper hits the free throws, and it's a 2-point game again. Santa Clara 13-4 overall. Their losses so far. They lost on a neutral floor to St. Louis. lost at the pit against New Mexico, lost in a neutral site game against Arizona State. And they have one home loss. Their neutral site game was actually in Santa Cruz. They lost to Loyola of Chicago as the Zags go back inside and get a bucket to go 4 in the first points tonight for Braden Huff.
And Huff's going to have to turn it on here down the stretch if Ike's not coming back.
Elijah Mahi attacks across the key. And the rebound, last touch by Huff. It stays at this end. A Santa Clara ball. Braden Huff finally getting into the act offensively.
Huff trying to pick up where Ike left off as the Zags trying to impose their will in the paint. They've got a 4-point lead early in the kennel.
Venue.
Kevin and Coach in studio, closing seconds of the first half. San Francisco up 3 on LMU when Rodney Brown changes that.
Good extra pass right there. Rodney Brown has 9 in this game, a 40% three-point shooter, averaging 14 a game. Reminds me a little bit of Bo Kimball, the way he's shooting.
Very nice there. Mentioned there, Roxy, they're tied at 31.
A Bo Kimball reference.
That's a throwback.
Coach Seth Greenberg going back. Those Paul Westhead days.
He is
Late May gathers.
Yeah, he's an encyclopedia of basketball.
Jeff Fryer. Boy, those LMU teams could score.
Man.
Foul down low, and Broncos head back to the line. And we have the top 2 scoring teams in the WCC here at the Kennel tonight. It's Gonzaga by 4. Second foul on Jalen Warley.
Roxy, I like what I'm seeing out of Santa Clara. Obviously, a program that's used to winning, not at all intimidated by being here in the Kennel. They know the Zags very well. They've had some turnovers and missed opportunities, but they've stuck with it, gotten to the free throw line, and made some plays, and it's a one-possession game.
One more for Elijah Mahi. A couple of weeks ago, WCC Player of the Week, and Herb Sendek, 20-plus wins each of the last 4 years. Had a lot of success wherever he's been. Miami of Ohio, NC State, Arizona State. And now at Santa Clara in his 10th season with the Broncos. And Herb Sendek's been a Coach of the Year in the Pac-12, the ACC, and the MAC.
Success seems to follow him, but it's not a coincidence.
If that's Mahi, that's his 3rd foul.
And that's a big blow for Santa Clara. You talk about him being unavailable probably for the remainder of the half. And you like the intensity, but this is just too far away from the rim to be out pressuring a ball handler. You've got 2 fouls. You've got to know better than that.
Tyon Grant Foster to the line. And a 1-and-1 for Grant Foster, a 65% foul shooter. And the rebound and a foul, and no, it's deflected out. No, they are calling a foul. Jeffrey Anderson with the foul. It's on Graham Ike, and to the foul line at the other end we go.
And maybe that's a no call if he doesn't lose the ball out of bounds. But as soon as that ball went out of bounds, the official had to follow through with that foul. Graham Ike with a little contact here, not really an over-the-back situation, but enough where the officials had to whistle that.
And under the old rules, that may have just been a ball out of bounds. Right. But now, with the challenge available, and you could challenge a play like that, for example, if a foul had not been called and you had been successful. But in the old days, that would have been just ball out of bounds and we play on.
Yeah, the refs would have smoothed it out. No call, but they would have handed the ball to the Broncos without whistling the foul. But you're right. Now that you can challenge, you got to call what it is.
The old days. It was last year. That's how long ago it was. Here is Ike. Pump fake. Now the step back, and Ike missing. Braden Huff, the offensive rebound, and the points in the paint.
Boy, with the 2 of them on the floor, bookends, you've got your choice. High post play, interior play, they get it all for the Zags.
Despite shooting just 33%, it's a 3-point game, and Santa Clara hanging right in there. Alan Graves had it knocked away, but picked up. Cherry Darlin strong on the 3. Graves on the offensive glass for the Broncos. Cutting to the bucket, and the lay-in spins around and goes. Christian Hammond.
Well, you see the basketball IQ of the Broncos. They know when to pass out of the double teams. They know when to cut off the ball. Great unselfish play.
1-point game. Open in the corner. Adam Miller had a clean look. And the rebound. Here comes Hammond to Santa Clara looking for the lead. Jerry Darlin attacks. The spin. Darlin. Travel.
Darlin was about to draw the foul, but he shuffled his feet. Ike left his feet and was in no man's land, but right here, I don't know. Had the drop step spin, but yeah, lifted that pivot foot, and that's the travel, but he could have been headed to the free throw line.
Santa Clara already 8 for 10 from the line. It's deflected. No, it was not. And that's an over and back call. Another Gonzaga turnover, the 8th by the Zags. Inside 6 minutes to go in the half.
And contrary to what a lot of people think, it is Santa Clara turning up the heat. Right here, this is just a miscue. Ball comes off his hand, backcourt violation. But credit the Broncos picking up the full court, applying pressure.
Hammond on the drive. Left open, Cherry Darlin. Too strong on the 3. Graham Ike pulls it down. 3rd rebound for Ike, and now he brings the ball up himself.
You know, Ike at the point has been a good offense for Gonzaga.
Braden Smith. And the rebound batted around. Falls to Huff. Missed the putback. And the rebound tipped out to Christian Hammond. Here comes Santa Clara.
They've got numbers.
Brent Napper drives. The floater off the window, and the first lead for Santa Clara.
And that was great defense by the Zags. They had the mismatch. They covered it up. They got everybody matched up, but a much better play by the Broncos to get the 2.
Graham Ike barrels his way inside. Coming over. Buki Aboye blocks the shot. Cherry Darlin stumbles. Travel.
Boy, he's had such a rough night. Missed a couple of wide open shots, whistled for a couple of traveling violations. You can see the frustration. You can also see the talent right here. Open court, tries to get downhill with the mismatch, but just one too many steps.
Darlin, the junior, for the Central African Republic. And he became significant in the NCAA this year. Down low for Ike. And lost it out of bounds underneath. Turnover number 9 committed by Gonzaga. But just to finish on Cherry Darling, he became the first player in NCAA history to sign with a college program out of the G League. He was the first one. Cherry Darling was playing for the Delaware Bluecoats. He was drafted into the G League. He was never drafted in the NBA, but drafted to the G League by the Portland Remix. And here are the notable professional players right now in college basketball. But Darling was the first in terms of playing in the G League and getting eligibility in the NCAA.
Yeah, we talked about the new landscape, whether it's conference realignment and the transfer portal, and now you have guys from the G League in the college ranks. It is definitely a new day in college athletics, and a lot of people have a lot of things to say about that.
6 straight for the Broncos and a 3-point lead. Christian Hammond has 8 to lead Santa Clara. Offensive foul against Gonzaga.
Right now, the Zags, a lot of self-inflicted wounds, turnovers, missed opportunities. It's the Broncos taking advantage.
10 Gonzaga turnovers, and we're not even at halftime.
Right now, it's the Broncos moving those feet and causing problems for the Zags.
Kevin and Coach in studio coming up at the half. We'll check in on Michigan State plus Illinois. And we'll ask Coach who's Gonzaga's biggest challenger in the WCC tonight, maybe notwithstanding. How has Santa Clara built this lead?
They're imposing their identity on the game defensively. That's who they are. They're active, they're alert defensively, they get deflections. They force a turnover 20% of the defensive possessions. And what they've done is turn those turnovers into baskets, 9 points off turnovers. Santa Clara's defense has been terrific.
Roxy, what a start to this one for Herb Sendek's team.
And look, they came in, Kevin, leading the WCC in steals. They average over 9 a game, so it's not a surprise they're forcing turnovers. It's just that Gonzaga doesn't usually commit this many and this quickly. As the battle of the unbeaten to the WCC as Cherry Darling nails a 3. Santa Clara by 6. 9 straight for the Broncos.
And Rox, I was just going to say, if you're the Zags, it's glass half full because they were only 2 for 12 from 3, and there they just drill one. They're with the lead and shooting poorly from behind the arc. But now it's the Zags being limited to 1 shot per possession.
Adam Miller the miss and an anxious crowd from a full house at the Kennel. Again, not your same energy and atmosphere you're used to seeing up here with school being out as Alan Graves missing the runner, got it back, dropped it in. 7 off the bench for the redshirt freshman Graves.
Graves taking it right to Graham Ike, almost daring him to contest at the rim, and you're right. It's quiet here in the kennel.
Rattles in for Ike. Now will Braden Huff get an assist?
He'll tell you that was a pass, but it wasn't.
Crowd trying to get into it here. Ends an 11-0 run for the Broncos. Cherry Darlin goes baseline and throws it away. Goes over to Gonzaga. If you're playing the official score, are you giving an assist to Braden Huff?
No, this is a missed shot. And Ike in the right place at the right time. Been the only bright spot offensively other than Venters with a couple of threes.
Adam Miller attacks. Left open to the corner. 3! Tyon Grant Foster.
Miller, a three-point shooter himself, used the threat to create an opportunity for a teammate. Beautiful pass, nice shot.
Third made 3 for the Zags. Crowd now rising at the kennel. Christian Hammond, 5 to shoot it. Knocked away. Last touch off of Gonzaga. 2 on the shot clock for the Broncos.
Outstanding team defense right there by Gonzaga. But at the other end, this is what you want. Penetration on the baseline. Offside slides to the corner. Has all day to line up the 3.
3-point game, 30-second timeout for Herb Sendek. The Broncos on the road, up 3.
.com.
3-point lead for Santa Clara. Gonzaga's led by as many as 8. And the same with Santa Clara. Tightly contested first half between a couple of 4-0 teams in WCC. And that is a shot clock violation. Santa Clara gives it away.
You know, Rox, a year ago when the Broncos got a win in this building, it was a 1-point game at halftime. The Zags had a 1-point lead. And what you want to do in these situations, you want to try to put together 2 good halves of basketball. And with a minute 30 left, it looks like they'll be in that same neighborhood come halftime. The question is, can the Zags start to put together stops and get their offense going again?
Hesitation. Braden Smith, the lob for Grant Foster. And a goaltend against Cherry Darlin. Give the hoop Tyon Grant Foster. And it's a 1-point game. 7 straight for Gonzaga to answer the Santa Clara 11-0 run.
Well, I thought he was going to put down this dunk, but gathers himself and goes up. Clear goaltend. Ball hits the backboard first. And now you feel like the momentum may have swung back to the Zags.
Alan Graves trying to rustle it away. Arrow belongs to Santa Clara, as was poked free by Braden Smith.
Good anticipation right there. When you got a chance to come over as a defender in someone's blind spot, knock that ball loose. Try to make your own luck defensively. Instead of waiting for them to miss, get out and try to create turnovers.
Christian Hammond goes baseline. Lost it going up. Loose underneath. And that'll be a shot clock violation. Turnover on the Broncos. Seems that Gonzaga's cranked it up a little bit defensively.
And it's not a coincidence. They're knocking the ball loose. They're anticipating. They're rotating over, helping each other out, trying to speed up this Santa Clara team, and it's worked.
3 straight turnovers for Santa Clara. Braden Smith brings it across. And there is a clock issue. That's why we have a stoppage. And they have to get it straightened out because it started and then stopped. And a few seconds would have ticked off. The clock here right now is showing 44 seconds left in the half, but there should be less, and also should be under 28 seconds on the shot clock. 1 point lead for Santa Clara, and you keep an eye on the clock. And it starts and then just stops. Now is the scorer's table alerting our officials of the stoppage here. But this first half, Gonzaga jumped out to an 8-point lead early, Corey. Santa Clara came back, and Herb Sendek's team dug in against a veteran team that's 16-1 on their home floor.
They really did. I mean, they kind of got punched in the mouth early, but this is a Herb Sendek coach team. They're not going to fade. They're not going to fall away. They came back and responded. They made plays. They got to the free throw line. They didn't turn the ball over. They got stops. They did everything you're supposed to do on the road and stayed together.
Speaking of Herb Sendek, you go back a long way with Santa Clara coach Herb Sendek.
Herb Sendek was a permanent fixture back in Batavia, Illinois with my coach Jim Roberts when he was recruiting me to go to Kentucky when he was there. So I've known Coach Sendek a number of years, and you know, always wondered what it would have been like had I taken that path. Every time I see him, we always get a chance to talk for a while, but one of the great basketball coaches in the land.
Your mom was a big fan of Herb Sendek.
My mom used to organize my recruiting mail based on handwriting. And Coach Sendek, Billy Donovan, and Coach Tony McAndrews had the best handwriting on their postcards, so those were at the top of the stack. And I was telling them about that today. So yeah, that was back when you used to get postcards and letters and all that stuff. But now, you know, coaches jump in your DMs and offer you scholarships on Instagram.
But you didn't choose Kentucky, you chose Arizona.
Took Arizona over Kentucky, and really no bad choices when I was coming out. Had some really good schools and some legendary Hall of Fame coaches that I was able to be recruited by. So just a great guy, and you see what he does with his programs and the way his kids play. Smart, and they play together.
Graham Ike fouled, will get to the line. And it's on Buki Aboye, his second.
And Aboye confused. Add me to the group. I don't know that there was a lot of contact there.
I think he got him down low with the body.
Like I say, usually when it's big on big, you're right there, the hand comes through and kind of brunches him in the face, and I can see where it is now, but it's a bang-bang play. But usually when it's too big, they let that kind of stuff go.
Rattles out for Ike, a 75% foul shooter. He's now 3 for 4 at the line. The other thing that Ike is so good at doing, drawing fouls. He's already drawn 5 on Santa Clara in this game.
He's what I would refer to as a very hungry player. He wants to get as close to the rim as he possibly can, and when you play like that, you seek out talent, and he's not afraid of contact. And you see Coach Mark Hughes going to get him out for this final play. And now, tied, it's the Broncos who will most likely play for the final shot.
16 points for Ike to lead all scorers in the game, as Mark Few takes his use it or lose it timeout here with 24.7 left in the half. But Ike was 16 of number 8 Gonzaga's 37 points. And the first tie we've had since the game started. And the Zags have scored 8 straight after getting down by 8 when Santa Clara used that 11-0 run to surge in front. While for the Broncos, they're led so far by Christian Hammond. He has 8. And Alan Graves has been a force off the bench for Santa Clara. He has 7.
You know, Rex, I'm thinking ahead to the halftime speeches from both of these coaches. There's a ton of stuff that both sides can clean up. I mean, obviously, you talk about turnovers, but for Santa Clara, they've had missed opportunities, point-blank layups. So both teams haven't played their best basketball, and we're tied. So I think we're in for a heck of a second half.
And the offensive rebounds, that's what Santa Clara does as well. We talk about how they make threes, and they shoot a lot of them. But they also lead the conference. They average over 14 offensive rebounds a game. They have 9 offensive boards already.
Yeah, they don't stand around and watch. When that ball gets on the rim, you got 3 or 4 players going after it.
First appearance for Davis Fogel off the bench for Gonzaga. Guarding the ball in Sash Gavaluga. Christian Hammond. 5 left in the half. Fires a 3. Rattles out. The rebound pinballed around. Cherry Darlin had it stripped. That'll take us to halftime. We're even after 20 minutes in the kennel. Number 8 Gonzaga closing the half on an 8-0 run. And they're knotted at 37 with the Broncos. Both teams 4-0 the WCC.
And you see why. Great momentum on both teams. Great scoring, great defense.
We go to the studio, the halftime report. Kevin Connors and Seth Greenberg. We're tied at the Kennel Boys.
And Roxy, that is a headline. Santa Clara led by as many as 8 in that first half with Coach Seth Greenberg. Kevin Connors here with you. No students, I know, but the Kennel is really seldom that quiet there, Coach. 10 turnovers for Gonzaga, most in any first half all season. What are we watching right now?
We're watching Santa Clara be the aggressor. We're watching Santa Clara get in passing lanes, get deflections, get out in transition. We're watching Santa Clara drive it to the rim, attack the basket, kick it out, get open threes, and just forcing turnovers. I mean, 10 turnovers is just too much. 11 points off of those turnovers. How active and alert, but it's all about Santa Clara's defense, their athleticism, their activity. And when you turn people over, it allows you to play ahead of the defense. And then in the half court, they didn't settle. They wanted to play downhill. They wanted to attack the basket. They didn't settle to be a three-point shooting team. And if they didn't make a shot, they got to the offensive glass. First half, this was all about Santa Clara imposing their identity on the game. And quite honestly, exposing Gonzaga in terms of their lack of toughness and fight and competitive spirit that you're used to seeing in Gonzaga.
Which is really saying something here. Tie game at the half. Look, Gonzaga has the wins over Oklahoma, UCLA, Alabama, the blowout win over Kentucky. They've also been blown out of the building by Michigan. What's the ceiling for this Zags team?
Well, they're good enough to beat Kentucky by 35 points. And they're bad enough on a given night to play against a great Michigan team and lose by 40 points. Well, so what do they have to rely on? They got to rely on their front court. They're only as good as their front court's going to take them. If you think about the Michigan game, Graham Ike, at 1 point, they had no chance. You think about the Kentucky game, they went for 48 points. And Ike, his ability to carve out space, finish around the basket, get to the offensive glass, step out and face up and knock down jumpers. If he gets the ball on the right block and works to the middle of the floor, he's impossible to stop. There's not as good a shooting team or ball movement team as they've been in the past, and defenses are going to shrink on them. So, but they've got to play through those two bigs and play post-to-post basketball.
We're going to continue the Gonzaga conversation here in just a bit because Coach is going to tell us who he thinks the biggest challenger to the Zags are going to be.
It will not be shocking.
In this WCC season, we'll talk about why. It may be you-know-who when we come back.
close effect.
With Coach Seth Greenberg, Kevin Connors, number 12 Michigan State, home to Northwestern. What makes this Spartans team dangerous?
They're relentless defensively. They're big, they're physical, they have the ability to guard the ball. And Jackson Kohler, his ability to step out, knock down threes, he can invert their offense. But it's on the defensive end, and this guy right here, it's a highlight every single game. All right, hello, Cone Carr.
Ooh, 10-point win for Sparty. Meantime, Illinois tuned up Rutgers tonight, led by 27 at the half, Coach.
It was not a basketball game, and this is a very complete team, terrific passing team. Davis knocks down the three in the corner, but Keaton Wagler, we talk about great freshmen in college basketball. This dude at 6'7", the ability to put the ball on the floor, get the spots, go over to people, he can pass it. He's got to be in the conversations for the very best freshman in the country, potential first-round draft choice.
17-7 in the win tonight. 2 straight wins to start the new year for San Francisco. Look at Rodney Brown Jr. to end the half.
Great extra pass right there, made one more. Rodney Brown Jr. knocks down the three, averaging about 14 a game. Had 3 threes in the first half.
And then Jalen Shelley here to start the second half.
Good job, a little shake, pull up.
The extended version, it looks
The
like.
extended version out there, he said, forget about the ball screen. I'm going to just jump up and knock down that three. This would be a huge win for Loyola Marymount.
All right, so you've got Gonzaga, St. Mary's, Santa Clara all started the night unbeaten in conference play. Washington State is 3-1. Yes, Wazoo and Oregon State are in the WCC. Coach, who's the biggest
for a short
threat?
period of time.
For a short period of time. Who's the biggest threat to Gonzaga here in the WCC?
It's St. Mary's. I mean, Gonzaga is St. Mary's Y. And now a year from now, it won't be St. Mary's. It won't be Gonzaga because I'm wondering what's going to be St. Mary's Y. But look, McKeever's an elite offensive rebounder at 6'10", keeps balls alive. Morauskas at 6'7", skilled, can make shots. I absolutely love Dent's feel for the game, and Mike Luce is a big-time scorer. You know they're going to defend. You know they're going to share the ball. They run a great ball screen offense. They play with great spacing, have a grit about them. But to me, it's really interesting. It's kind of sad. Like, to me, when St. Mary's had Gonzaga, they had a Y. They always knew that was going to be their target. That was going to be their goal. Next year, St. Mary's is everyone else's Y.
Different ball game next year. By the way, these two teams will close out the month of January and February playing each other in the regular season. You can bet Graham Ike will be ready. A feathery touch. This one's tied at 37-3.
by the knee. Get right here.
What a way to finish off Wild Card Weekend. Texans, Steelers. You get the traditional broadcast on ABC and ESPN, the Manning cast on ESPN2. What a finish to one of the college football playoff semis tonight. Carson Beck in the closing seconds on the keeper. The U is back. Miami, the 31-27 win. They await the winner of Oregon and Indiana in 19 hours or so. Great weekend of college basketball, Coach. On Saturday, SMU Duke, the lone ranked-on-ranked matchup.
Yeah, Boopy Miller, terrific against North Carolina. 27, 12 assists in that win against Carolina. Duke, on the other hand, Caleb Foster in the second half against Louisville took the game over. He was a compliment to Cam Boozer. Had 16 playing downhill in the second half. That'll be a fun game to watch.
We'll start at 11 a.m. Eastern with college basketball live. Christian Hammond, a big three. Santa Clara and Gonzaga head into the second half, all tied up.
Now.
Getting ready for the start of the second half at the Kennel, knotted at 37. Number 8 Gonzaga and Santa Clara, a couple of unbeaten teams in WCC play. And a tight first half here in the Pacific Northwest. Along with Corey Williams and our ESPN crew, Roxy Bernstein with you. Look, Santa Clara was down by 8 early. They're tied at the half. How are they doing it?
Well, they've matched them on the glass. 18 boards apiece, 9 offensive rebounds, and they've made 8 free throws. They played within themselves. They've answered the pressure by sharing the ball, making sure the ball gets to the right spot so they can shoot a high percentage. When they receive pressure, they beat it on the dribble, and they pass. Great strategy for the Broncos.
Graham Ike, 16 first-half points, leading all scorers in the game.
One-man wrecking crew got off to a great start in the one-on-one. He's been doing damage in the paint. They've knocked down a couple of threes, but the Zags want to establish that balance that they're known for, the inside-outside game, to complement what he's been doing.
Santa Clara shot just 38%, 3 of 15 from the three-point line in the first half. But they had 9 offensive rebounds and forced 10 Gonzaga turnovers. We're tied as we start the second half, and Braden Smith brings it up for the Zags. Down low, Braden Huff, and Gonzaga reclaims the lead.
Just the way they drew it up in the huddle. Good ball movement and execution, wide open layup.
Huff with just 6 points, the Zags leading scorer on the year. And a whistle, and we have a foul against Gonzaga.
When you have a play like this, it always ends up with a back screen that doesn't get communicated right there. Poor communication from the Broncos. You can't let a guy cut down the lane unguarded.
Second on Tyon Grant Foster. He came off the bench to start the ball game, but gets the nod for Mark Few to start the second half. Elijah Mahi picked up 3 fouls and had to sit for a good chunk of the first half for the Broncos. Backs his way into the baseline. The tough step back. Short from Mahi, and the rebound Tyon Grant Foster. Here come the Bulldogs.
Mahi may be critical for Santa Clara. They need him to score, but he cannot pick up a 4th foul here early.
Adam Miller with space. 3. First points for Adam Miller tonight. 5 straight for the Zags to start the second half.
Well, everybody in the WCC knows the scouting report on Miller. A tremendous shooter. Only needs a little bit of space to get open.
13 straight Gonzaga points dating back to the first half. Deep 3. The stroke from Brenton Napper. Just a 23% three-point shooter, and the Zags turn it over. Napper drives. Napper challenged and muscles it up and in to tie the game.
Boy, he has made some outstanding plays. A couple of floaters in the first half, and right there, a quick nickel. 5 quick points from Napper.
Napper now with 11 to lead the Broncos. Braden Huff answers for Gonzaga.
Huff so efficient, great footwork off the dribble.
Napper drives. Corner 3. Buki Aboye with just his 4th made 3 of the season, and Santa Clara reclaims the lead.
I did not have that on my bingo card.
And it rolls in for Gonzaga. Graham Ike.
He's had that spin move with the finish going all night. Such a soft touch around the rim.
Zags seesaw in front. A 3 way off from Elijah Mahi. Here comes Braden Smith pushing. Drives. Tyon Grant Foster. And the rebound on the weak side falls to Christian Hammond for Santa Clara. Elijah Mahi in the paint. And challenged, and Braden Huff rips it down for Gonzaga.
Zags have a mismatch. A Snapper trying to guard Ike, and that's just not going to work.
Sweet pass from Braden Smith, and Ike now with 20.
It started on the other end where Ike got switched on to Napper, and the two of them never got away from each other, and at the other end, Ike makes them pay.
Ten to shoot. Christian Hammond spins. Hammond, too strong in the lane. Rebound falls to Mahi. And a foul. And Santa Clara will get to the strike.
Transition for the Zags so effective. They realize early Graham Ike has a point guard on him. Nice little shovel pass. And that's easy work for the big man. I think he may have been trying to put that pass through to Miller.
Still got an assist.
Either way.
By the way, they did not give Brayton Huff an assist in the first half, just in case you're wondering. And the first free throw goes for Buki Aboye. Saturday at ESPN, a great day of college basketball. Number 21, Tennessee and Florida get it started at noon Eastern. Then number 6, Duke hosting number 24, SMU. Mustangs had a good win over North Carolina the other night. Number 1, Arizona trying to remain unbeaten to see how TCU bounces back after that punch in the gut at Allen Fieldhouse the other night against Kansas. And then at 6, number 15, Arkansas and Auburn. Great day of college hoops. And speaking of trying to bounce back, boy, Auburn, the heartbreak that they had the other night.
Having that waved off at home, tragic. And then, you know, coaches always say, hey, we're on to the next game and we got to keep looking forward. But TCU let that game slip away at Fog Allen. You try to act like that's not going to stay with you, but man, that is a tough loss to swallow.
Amazing comeback by Bill Self's Jayhawks. Shot clock down to 5. Graham Ike dumps it down low. Huff has it blocked at the rim. Out of bounds, 2 to shoot for Gonzaga. 1-point game at the Kennel early in the second half. Battle of 4-0 teams in the WCC.
Think this one doesn't matter? Of course it does. Swarm into the ball. The Broncos with the denial.
Day.
An incredible performance. Are you not entertained? Unbelievable. There will be a new champion.
The college football playoff semifinals continue tomorrow at the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl.
Peach Bowl tomorrow night. The winner gets the U, Miami, in the national championship game. It's Mark Few's alma mater, by the way, the Oregon Ducks. Dan Lanning's team taking on the Heisman Trophy winner, Fernando Mendoza, as going inside. And Graham Ike will get to the line for Gonzaga. Fouled at the rim by Alan Graves. Well, what a tight ball game. And it came down to the last play at the Fiesta Bowl tonight. Miami just did hold on to beat Ole Miss.
Great games all around so far, except for the couple early ones. But yeah, big win for the U. A lot of people say they're back. I know Michael Irvin believes the U is back. And then tomorrow, I just don't see any way that I could bet against Indiana. They just look like they're playing on a mission on a different level.
Kurt Cignetti's team won at Autzen Stadium, beat Oregon earlier this year on the road.
Yeah, I mean, they come out, they handle their business, very matter of fact. They've got tons of star power, but they're really focused, great defense, and they've got the #1 player in college football, and that helps.
Being a Cal alum, it's still a little painful to see Fernando Mendoza playing for Indiana.
Yeah.
3-point lead for the Zags. Elijah Mahi looks to move in.
Mahi trying to get some things going in the one-on-one, gets to his jump hook and gets it to drop.
6 for Mahi tonight, and it trims the Gonzaga lead back to 1. Manuel Innocenti open for 3. Mario St. Superi missing in the rebound. Alan Graves for the Broncos.
Great rebound by Graves. Roxy, you talk about a 1-point game, and Santa Clara shooting 38% from the floor, but they've got 11 second chance points, and right here they got an opportunity to get some more second chance points. That's how they've been able to hang around.
Another offensive rebound by Alan Graves. That's 11 offensive boards for the Broncos. 5 to shoot. Long 3. And that's short from Sash Gavalugov, and the rebound grab by Gonzaga.
But in the end, that's 2 shot attempts per possession, and you just can't have that high-level college basketball. Got to limit teams to just 1 shot.
Santa Clara's attempted 10 more field goals than Gonzaga. There's a foul on the perimeter against the Broncos.
And that's been the difference. And you saw the final minutes of the first half, the Zags were able to create turnovers and kind of get some momentum, get the crowd back into the game and impose their will. They got to get back to that, because this Santa Clara team is not just going to fall apart. They're going to shoot the ball better than they have. Question is, what position will the Zags be in if that happens?
3rd foul on Jake Ensminger. Shot clock down to 7. Graham Ike way out near midcourt. Step back 3 by Ike. 25 for Graham Ike. Just his 9th made 3-pointer of the season. Alan Graves, the leaner. Left it short. Who else? Graham Ike, the rebound, and Graves called for his 3rd foul.
Graves had a point-blank layup, and he blew it. But, Roxy, we talked about leadership. What can he not do? You want him to rebound, he can do that. You want him to handle the ball, he can do that as well. End of possession, shot clock winding down. Step back 3, no problem. In the one-on-one, pick and rolls, whatever you need, Graham Ike can make it happen. Just not a lot of bigs in the country with that type of ability. And now Graves with a little defense here.
The steal and slam, Alan Graves.
And that's the 2nd time a Santa Clara big man has shot the lane and got it easy too.
Graham Ike isolated. Turnaround jumper, well challenged by Alan Graves, and Cherry Darlin pulls it down.
Darlin, another player that hasn't been able to get anything going.
Taylor Worley the rebound for the Bulldogs. Worley attacks, a drop off, Ike, fouled, and 1, Graham Ike.
And Roxy, this is just straight weight room. If you're a guard down there, you have no business reaching in on Graham Ike. You're not going to stop him from getting that ball to the 10. He just muscles it up, and 1, ignites the crowd. Beautiful penetration and dish. Graham Ike just too strong in the paint.
First foul on Sash Gavalugov. And Ike, who with this free throw can tie a season high. He's got 27. He put up 28 in their win at Kentucky. And now 28 for Ike.
And Roxy, he sat out a good 7-minute stretch in the first half, so you can only imagine what his numbers would be. He was out there the majority of the time. Good contest there.
Here comes Steel Venters. Jalen Worley down the lane. Missed the lane and the rebound tipped out. Here comes Santa Clara. Jerry Darlin. Ike's career high, by the way, is 35, which he set when playing for Wyoming against Denver. Underneath, and the lay-in, Allen Graves for the Broncos.
Good execution, good ball movement right there. But you see the unselfish play. They always get the ball where it's supposed to be.
Manuel Inichinti open. Three! He doesn't take many. But he hit that one to put the Zags up by 6, their largest lead of the second half.
And that's Gonzaga basketball. Tempo, penetrate, and kick.
Elijah Mahi and a push. The foul, Jalen Worley picks up his 3rd.
And right now, in a close one, it's the Zags playing with a little tempo, penetrate, kick, and stick. Zags up 6 here.
Introducing SportsCenter for you, personalized every single day. Now available on the ESPN app. Powered by your favorites.
Monster night for Graham Ike, season high tying 28. And he has come out certainly with an edge tonight. And a lot of what, look, he is driven to play every night, Corey. But I think some of it also tonight, a little extra from Graham Ike with the loss to Santa Clara last year that still stings in the back of his mind. Deflected out by Steel Venters. It stays at this end.
There, you're talking about a player that's locked in. 10 of 14 from the floor. Nailed the only 3 that he's taken. Drawn more fouls than the rest of his team combined. He's extremely active, doing everything he can to make sure the Zags get the W.
And we were talking to Mark Few earlier today. You brought up something interesting. When you played at Arizona, and if you lost to a team in McHale Center the year before, Coach Olson, the legendary Lute Olson, would bring the video out from that game just to remind you of what happened the year before. Mark Few said he thought about it but didn't do it because it's such a different team. Up over everybody. Buki Aboye, the alley-oop.
They finally connect on the lob with the big fella, but to your point, Rox, yeah, anything you can do to motivate your guys and remind them there are no cakewalks in college basketball. You got to show up every night.
Adam Miller too strong on the three. And the rebound grab by the Broncos. But you look at this Gonzaga team racing up the floor. Jake Ensminger. And a whistle, offensive foul, the fourth on Ensminger. And it goes right back to Gonzaga. But you look at the makeup for Mark Few's team. One more look at the charge here.
They're going to say he was stationary outside the arc, set. Offensive player left his feet. Probably took away a scoring opportunity there.
This Gonzaga team, it was really only Braden Huff, Graham Ike, Emmanuel Inochinti from a year ago that were making up that team that lost to Santa Clara here. Braden Smith sat out redshirted last year. Steele Venters missed the season with an injury. Sat on the rim, Braden Huff follows up the miss of Mario Saint-Supiri.
And even though a lot of those players weren't a part of that game, they're part of the program. And if the veterans tell you, hey, we got some get back out here, you better get ready to play.
Alan Graves stumbles through the double team. Picked up. Here come the Zags. Jalen Worley. Attack! Gonzaga's matched their largest lead. Timeout Santa Clara.
We've seen the Zags turn up the heat and make things happen. Bodies on the floor. And it's the Zags racing out to an 8-point advantage on plays like this.
Inside 10 minutes to go, and Gonzaga's matched their largest lead of the night. Up 8 on Santa Clara midway through the second half.
Well, it's been the same formula for Gonzaga. 50-50 balls, deflections, getting active on the defensive end, leading to some transition opportunities. Big possession here for the Broncos, and you feel like they need a bucket to kind of calm things down.
Santa Clara, who won here last year, was their first win at the Kennels since 2007. And a careless turnover by the Broncos.
That is the exact opposite of what you want coming out of a timeout. When you're taking a run, the crowd is now locked in. Plenty of time left, but you definitely feel like momentum has changed hands.
Adam Miller gets inside and will get to the free throw line. Fourth foul on Allen Graves. Fouls mounting for the Broncos. Graves with 4. Jake Ensminger has 4. And 3 on Elijah Mahi. Two shots for Adam Miller. And the first one rolls in. ESPN Women's College Hoops triple header Sunday afternoon. Number 22 North Carolina, Notre Dame start us off at 1 Eastern. Then it's number 12 LSU taking on number 2 Texas. And the afternoon wraps up with Duke on the farm at Maples Pavilion to take on Kate Pays. Stanford Cardinal as Adam Miller hits both free throws.
Zags with their largest lead of the game at 10 points. Another big possession for Santa Clara. Turned it over the last time out.
Real danger zone now for the Broncos. And a foul is Inocenti trying to break out. And a flagrant's been called on Santa Clara.
Back-to-back turnovers for the Broncos. You can see this Gonzaga Bulldog team ready to get out and run with every turnover. There takes a swipe at the ball handler and kind of grabbed his hip to keep him trying to prevent the layup, but it's going to result in 2 shots and the ball.
First one missed by Emmanuel Inocenti, and the foul was on Christian Hammond, who was trying to break up an easy bucket back the other way. So with the flagrant 1 called against Santa Clara, that means the 2 shots and now the ball for the Zags on a 7-0 run. And it's funny, Emmanuel Inocenti had shot 3 free throws all season coming into tonight. He has shot 5 in this game. On the baseline, a goaltend. Give the hoop to Braden Huff. And it's really slipping away from the Broncos now.
Yeah, we're starting to see some things we haven't seen all game right here. Good pass and just lack of discipline. Obvious goaltend right there, but it's been the turnovers.
This call is being challenged by Herb Sendek and Santa Clara. That's part of the new rules in college basketball this year because it was called a goaltend on the floor. It can be challenged. So an official review on the challenge from Santa Clara about the goaltending call. If it stands, 9-0 run to go up 13 for Gonzaga and 12 points now for Braden Huff. And that is a quick review. Count the basket. Call is confirmed by the crew. And that cost Herb Sendek a timeout, and they are out of challenges now.
And the question is, was the ball still on its way up? And it looked as if it was still on its way up. I don't know that I agree with that call.
The unsuccessful challenge by Sendek. And a 13-point lead for the Zags. 9 straight, 12-2 run. It was a tight game. Gonzaga creating some distance now. Huge sequence here for Santa Clara.
And it's been the offense that's been stagnant. Guys trying to drill a little too much into double teams and traps and turning the ball over again.
Graham Ike caused the turnover. Graham Ike backing his way in. Spins baseline. Season high 30 for Ike.
Ike in the one-on-one has been absolutely outstanding. for Gonzaga tonight.
He's got 30 points on 15 shots from the floor. 11 straight for the Zags. Deflected out, last touch by Gonzaga.
Roxy, you need spacing in the one-on-one, and when you're talking about a guy with that kind of wingspan, you need to make sure he's clear, because he gets a piece of the ball, and at the other hand, reading the defense, drop step over the shoulder, a little hook, soft touch, just an elite player.
Here is Hammond. Leans in, missed a shot down low, and the rebound, Brayton Huff for the Zags. Hammond had a pretty good look. He was probably more open than he thought he would be.
Easiest look anybody's had all night for Santa Clara. Wasn't able to score, and at the other end, they get caught reaching.
And it's Hammond with his third. Bonus for Gonzaga. Gonzaga pulling away inside 8 minutes to go.
Corner.
I'm a boss and I always win.
The most wonderful time of the year, the start of women's collegiate gymnastics. Every year, the excitement around women's gymnastics grows. That was magic. It is the kickoff to the season.
When it comes to the ball, it's higher than it's ever been.
These teams accounting for 10 of the last 11 national championships. Session 1 on ABC, 4 Eastern. Oklahoma, UCLA, Utah, and LSU. Session 2 on ESPN2 at 8 Eastern. Michigan State, Kentucky, Michigan, and Cal. One more shot for Mario Sain Superi. 12 straight for Gonzaga. First point of the night for the freshman from Spain. And it is all Gonzaga right now. Santa Clara in desperate need because they're losing touch with the Bulldogs.
Well, you know, they haven't shot the ball well all night, but they were able to get to the free throw line. They were able to get offensive rebounds, and none of that's been taking place here in the second half. No offensive rebounds, no free throws to speak of.
And Gonzaga stopped turning the ball over. And there's a foul as Jake Ensminger went down. And it's the third on Mario Sain Superi.
And not only did the Zags stop turning it over, they started causing turnovers. And they were able to get a lot of transition buckets that just weren't there in the first half. And when you look at the score right now, it's the transition buckets and the empty possessions from the Broncos.
Just the fourth Gonzaga team foul. Skip pass to Elijah Mahi. Short on the three. And the rebound batted around, falls to Allen Graves, in and out. Graham Ike pulls down rebound number 8. 30 points, 8 boards. Jalen Warley missing on the baseline. The tip in.
And they're just more active at this point in the game. They're right up off the floor before anybody else to tap the ball back in, contesting shots, limiting Santa Clara to just 1 shot per trip.
Drought of about 4.5 minutes for the Broncos. Gonzaga attacks. The tip for MEK. 17 straight points for Gonzaga. And the wheels have really come off for Santa Clara. This was a tie game at halftime.
Yeah, and the ball was moving around in the first half. Now you see a lot of hesitation, guys really not creating anything, and then you get inside the final 10 seconds.
And a foul will get Allen Graves to the line for the Broncos.
The Zags just active, not standing around, cutting, moving without the ball, good vision. Miller, normally a shooter, camping out in the corner, decides to cut. They reward him with the bounce pass for 2, but the story has been that man right there, Graham Ike, an absolute monster. 30 points and counting, most likely.
That ends the 17-0 run for Gonzaga. 12 off the bench for Allen Graves tonight.
You know, Roxy, there are teams where you can get away with playing a bad stretch of basketball for 5 or 6 minutes, but Gonzaga is simply not one of them.
And you can't do it here.
No, they're too talented, and they're going to make you pay. And they obviously woke up at halftime, and just a totally different team in both halves.
Career high tying 13 for Graves now. On the drive. Getting inside, off the window. Mario Saint-Superi. And Brent Napper may have been clipped with an elbow. Just over 6 minutes to go. Gonzaga trying to run their record in the WCC to 5-0 and search their 10th straight win. It would give them a win against Santa Clara for the 52nd time in 56 tries.
And like you said, despite the last few matchups, that's a pretty lopsided statistic.
Emmanuel Inochinti leaks out. Inochinti.
Just no spacing right now for Santa Clara. Guys dribbling into second defenders. And give the Zags a ton of credit. Coming over, getting their hands in the passing lanes.
Allen Graves had a strong game for Santa Clara. 15, a new career high for the redshirt freshman from Louisiana.
The Zags really pushing the issue, running out, getting rewarded right there. They had the turnover, trying to get Graham Ike on a leak out as well. Mark Few up, coaching intense. Despite the score, he wants to see his guys pushing the ball, continuing to play great defense.
Christian Hammond now in double figures with 10. 5 minutes to go. Win tonight for Gonzaga would make them 17-1 overall. Again, the only loss for Gonzaga was in Vegas to Michigan. And they're off until next Thursday when they travel down to Pullman to take on Washington State. So they'll be off on Saturday as Mario Saint-Superi gets to the bucket. He has been all Gonzaga here in the second half.
I mentioned putting together 2 solid halves if you were Santa Clara and how they did the first part. But second half, they just have not had the same rhythm.
Allen Graves nails a 3. And a timeout for Gonzaga with 4:17 to go. But everybody getting into the act here in the second half.
Only a matter of time before the Zags started doing what the Zags do. And right now, it is the Zags in total control. They've been intent from the beginning, playing inside out through their big man. Who needs threes when the big fella is 12 of 16? And the last 16 of 22 made field goals have taken place inside the paint. Gonzaga applying the pressure. Graham Ike dominating the inside. And that's how we got to the score we have right now.
You pay attention to the analytics, which of course we do because it's our responsibility to do so. As you look at the night for Graham Ike. But Gonzaga, they're in the top 10 in the country according to ESPN analytics in both offensive and defensive efficiency.
You know, you have to know where the ball's supposed to go. And 16, 17 games into the season, the elite teams know this is how we play. This is who needs to show up. This is our method. And right now, the Zags, everyone's comfortable. They've got great shooters. They've got inside guys. But that efficiency, not turning the ball over, getting good shots, that makes all the difference in the world. The moment they eliminated the turnovers, this game got out of hand.
And a foul trying to get through Braden Huff was Buki Aboye. Third foul, the Santa Clara big man, and Huff will go to the line.
You know, Rox, I'm one of those believers that there's very little difference between any of the teams that currently are inside the top 10. But when you look at these numbers, you talk about a program being effective, being able to go on the road and win. You preach these statistics to your team. Let's score, obviously. The points in the paint, guys coming off being productive from the bench. These are all part of a championship team. Every coach would love to see numbers like that.
The one number that's surprising when you think of Gonzaga, they're a poor foul shooting team, as they are under 70% as a team this year.
And that could be a symptom of the wrong guys are getting fouled. You need to make sure that guys who can knock down free throws are the ones going to the line.
And a hard fall as Buki Aboye went tumbling. And that'll put the Zags back at the free throw line.
Backdoor cut gets him up off his feet.
And that's a long way down for the 7'1" Aboye. Foul difficulty for the Broncos as Inochinti at the line again. Now just 3 for 6. Transfer from Tarleton, Emmanuel Inochinti, the native of Italy. And he goes 1 for 2, and he's got 11 points tonight. Lead was as large as 21 for the Zags as the spin and hoop for Christian Hammond. Hammond now with 12. Especially here in the second half, Gonzaga did a really good job on Christian Hammond. Inicinti flies down the lane.
It's just night and day, this Gonzaga offense here in the second half. We're seeing plays being made, transition buckets, and right there, just good one-on-one effort down the lane. I mean, it's one thing to beat the defender, but the fact that nobody rotates over, just breaking the will and the spirit of Santa Clara here in the final moments of this game.
16 foul on the Zags, the 4th on Inicinti. Alan Graves bulldozing his way inside. And the spin, Graves left it short. Graham Ike, double-double now. 32 points, 10 rebounds. It's 10th double-double of the season. And a monster night for Graham Ike, who clearly had an agenda tonight.
He definitely remembered the home loss and came out to get a revenge, and that's been the order of the day. Absolute domination. Started off the only bright spot offensively in the first half, but then his crew joined him here in the second half, and they've been rolling.
Christian Hammond off 1 foot, the floater rattles home. Inside 2 minutes to go. Quick turnaround for the Broncos. They will host Loyola Marymount on Saturday. After Stan Johnson's team came up here, it was throttled by the Zags last weekend. The tip in, Graham Ike.
Left hand with the finesse. Roxy, I don't know the last time I saw a big man with hands that good.
1 off a career high for Ike. From deep, Alan Graves too strong, and the rebound grab by Sain Supiri. Outlets ahead, Adam Miller. Back the other way, the flip falls off. The follow slam, Buki Aboye. And there's a wet spot on the court over near the Santa Clara bench, which also allows Herm Sendek to get some subs in there.
And Rox, they have run away with this game, both figuratively and literally. The Zags, foot on the gas the entire second half. Tons of breakaway layups, big plays, but on the defensive end is where they really tightened things up and started to control the glass. No offensive rebounds. They really turned this game around. And it's a team that has aspirations of a national championship, and you see all the moving parts on display here in the second half.
And they were tested by Santa Clara tonight. Broncos used an 11-0 run late in the first half, took an 8-point lead to see the Zags score the final 8 points of the half to send us to the locker rooms at halftime, tied at 37. But the second half, it's been a different story, and Gonzaga has really upped their game, stopped turning the ball over, shooting 63% from the floor in the second half, and have scored 52 points since the break.
Yeah, and Roxy, you know, I know we're just getting into conference play around the country, and I've seen a lot of basketball, and so have you, but I don't know that I've seen a better big man in the country than Graham Ike. I mean, you talk about broad shoulders that can carry a team deep into a tournament run. He plays with a finesse and a power that just a lot of big men don't have. The coordination, the skill, it's all there.
Veteran, experienced, older team that Mark Few has. And this team just knows how to win. One more for Sash Gavaluga. At the line, Villanova transfer. Let's see if the Zags try to get it to Ike. He can get that career high. Mario Sain Supiri. Adam Miller launching. Rims out the corner three. The rebound grab by the Broncos. And the final 10 seconds. Deep three. And the stroke from Sash Gavaluga. And And that'll do it. Final score from the kennel. Strong second half for number 8 Gonzaga. They pull away. They win it 89-77 over Santa Clara. 10 straight wins for Gonzaga. They are now 17-1 and are 5-0 in their final go-round of the West Coast Conference.
Statement win by the Gonzaga Bulldogs. It took them a half to wake up, but when they did, it was lights out. Big time second half here at the kennel.
89-77 Gonzaga. Graham Ike, one off a career high. 34 points to lead the Zags to win number 17 tonight at the kennel. Fun night of hoops in the Pacific Northwest, and Gonzaga doing Gonzaga things. For my partner, Corey Williams, and our ESPN crew, Roxy Bernstein, so long for the kennel. Again, the final. Number 8 Gonzaga, 89. Santa Clara, 77.